All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. I've got Eric Reichman playing in the background. He did a very good video today. Um, I have his YouTube in a picture that we'll get to here in a moment. Go watch his video, subscribe to his channel. This type of stuff is what the tribulation saints are going to need after the rapture occurs. Um, Tomorrow's a very big day on the timeline. Tomorrow is the day that Jesus rides in for his triumphal entry on the donkey and the colt. And when we're looking at the timeline, of course, I believe it's accurate. I believe Jesus went to the cross on the 30th, and then all of these clues keep coming in, like Shabbat Parah is the day that they will sacrifice the red heifer. And then sure enough, we find a article that says that they will do that uh, on the 30th. Um, will it happen? I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know. These dates that I give are just dates on a timeline. And honestly, we've done this long enough, many, many years, to say and show that every high watch day could have possibly been a rapture, but it wasn't because we're still here. So I'm going to get to the timeline and show you where we're sitting at right now and surmise, work together. In the Discord, which is fantastic, it almost has 2,000 subscribers, really grown up quick uh, lately. People are getting in there with tons of math. And again, the math isn't saying, well, this is definitely the rapture. We don't know. We just don't know. Amos 3:7 has not been fulfilled yet, but rest assured, Amos 3:7 will be fulfilled. In the end, it will speak. God will do nothing lest he warn the prophets and the saints first. He's going to tell us. And we've seen so many things happen since the Revelation 12 sign that we're looking at so many different things that we really don't know yet. And that's why when an event like October 7th comes and we're like, okay, wow, that just happened. That's how it's going to come to pass when God tells us. We're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Is it going to be 7 days? Is it going to be 3 days? Is it going to be a few hours? Is it just going to be a trumpet blast? And that's how he tells us it's time to go. When that trumpet blessed, the bride, those of us who've been just dreaming about this day showing up, we're going to know. We're not going to be afraid. We're going to run towards it. Everybody else is going to run away from it. They're going to be scared. They're not going to know what's going on. And after we go, many people, a great multitude, will drop to their knees, realizing, hey, this was true. This just happened. And that's what we're here for. We're here to leave behind information for those who will be greater. They'll have a double portion, just like Elisha had over Elijah. They'll have a double portion, and they will just begin their research. Of course, they'll have more concrete dates. Not concrete dates. I believe the dates are accurate. They'll have more of an idea of exactly when their gathering will happen or their harvest will happen. And let me get to the pictures real quick and show you where we're at. We are, let me put on my glasses so I can see. We are coming up on tomorrow in Israel. We don't know what time, the Bible does not specify, but in Israel, the triumphal entry happened on March the 26th, which is Nisan 10. Now, this is also the day that Patrick over at End Time Watchman found. He did all of this work and he found that Miriam passed away at 127 years old on this day, on Nisan 10. And I thought that was incredible. So Miriam dies on this day. She is 7 years older. This is a perfect, I mean, absolutely perfect explanation of the 7 year tribulation. It's not longer, it's not shorter, it is 7 years. Miriam dies at 127, Aaron dies at 123, and I would say 123 and a half, and then Moses dies at 120. And none of them are allowed to go into the promised land. As a matter of fact, I'll show you this as well. There's only two people that left Egypt that are allowed to go in the promised land, and they are the two witnesses that brought back the good report, Joshua and Caleb. They are the only two that brought back the good report. So tomorrow in Israel will be the triumphal entry. That Passah, what is it? Shabbat Passah. They will do this on March the 30th. How ironic is it that I find that March the 30th, and again, I question, I'm like, March the 30th, Lord, what in the world does March the 30th have to do with anything? Until I did the math for the 150 days after the flood, lands on March the 30th. And then this article comes out that that's Shabbat Parah, the day that they will sacrifice the red heifer. And you've all seen that by now. I would imagine that they will do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on March the 30th. The time will change in Israel on March the 29th. That's when their time changes. So by March the 29th at nightfall, it will become 7 hours from Eastern Standard Time. So you'll have to set your clocks, not set your clocks, but you'll have to be conscious of the fact that at that moment, at midnight in Israel on the 29th, it will become an extra hour in between or less, depending on which side of Israel you're on. Um, it will be again 6 hours for me. Currently, it'll become 7 hours. So if they do it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it will be 8 a.m. for me here, Eastern Standard Time, when they sacrifice the red heifer. All right. I've showed you this before. This is what I showed before. Many people have found this and they're doing math from this. But remember, the red heifer does not need to be sacrificed on what they are calling Passover. The red heifer simply sacrificed to get its ashes so that they can cleanse themselves, so that they can enter. They're going to save these ashes so that they can enter into the temple that they're about to build. The temple building, once they have this, they will begin pushing. And I heard somebody say that it's actually probably going to be a part of this when they shall say peace and safety. This peace deal that they're going to do is that they in fact do get to build the temple. So that'll be very interesting to see this unfold. And remember, the red heifer that they're about to sacrifice, they're calling it number 10. In the Bible, you find 9 previous sacrifices in history, nothing for the last nearly 2,000 years. And then they're calling it number 10, what they're about to do. But we all know that they crucified Jesus, and he was the perfect number 10, the completion. And the number 11 that they're about to do here, I think it's Sunday, is the 30th. What they're about to do will be the 11th, which will bring about disorder, chaos, and judgment. That's what 11 means. I showed you this before. There was a rabbi from 900 years ago that said, he taught, who knows where he got this from, but he taught that the 10th red heifer, which of course we know is the 11th, would be sacrificed by the Messiah himself. And so that would be the Antichrist, or yeah, the Antichrist. I did a little math. I always wondered why God didn't have Passover land on April Fool's Day. I thought that would be really cool. Everything else on the Gregorian calendar seems to line up. Jesus being conceived on Christmas Day, meeting Elizabeth, her cousin, on New Year's Day, the head of the year on St. Patrick's Day. So many events took place that lined up perfectly with the Gregorian. This one always stumped me until I realized April, if you do the math from March 30th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you go 3.5 days, and it will be Sorry, Jesus was in the tomb. I said that wrong. Jesus was in the tomb for 84 hours. He went to the grave. He died at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he rose at 3 a.m. on April the 3rd, giving him a full 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth, not counting the 3 hours from the moment he died until 6 p.m. or from when he finished his 72 hours, his 3 days and 3 nights until 9 a.m. So he was actually in the grave for 84 hours and halfway through, 42 hours halfway through, lands on April's Fool's Day at 9 a.m. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, and then I did from March 30th to April the 3rd. That's the full 84 hours right there from 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then he rose April the 3rd, Sunday, 3 a.m. He went to the cross on a Wednesday and he rose on a Sunday. All right, here he is, Eric Reichman. He needs more subscribers. This is what he was teaching. I don't know if he thinks that I couldn't grasp all of it when I was listening to him. Is he saying that the bowls are being poured out right now? I don't think so. I think he's saying you can't pour out a full bowl until it's filled. And he's saying that the seven bowls are filled as the planets pass through the water of Aquarius. And I thought, whoa, that's actually pretty cool. And in order for us to know what year this would happen, uh, it had to happen in a specific order, like the menorah, and the planets had to be in a specific order. And as you know, right now, Earth is on one side of the sun, and all the other planets are on the other side, almost like all the other planets are sitting in judgment against the Earth, which this is about what's about to happen with the rapture is a judgment. It's a huge judgment because everyone left on Earth will be unsaved. They will have another opportunity, and we know that there's a great multitude that no man can count that will be gathered at the sixth seal, but they will have an opportunity to accept the Lord. And that's the point of the tribulation. How long after the bride goes does the great multitude go? I don't know. I'm seeing a very short period of time personally, but many say it's 3.5 years, but I can't see 3.5 years because God diverts his attention back to Israel. It doesn't say anything about diverting his attention or continuing to keep his attention uh, on the church or on the elect, on those that will become saved. I just don't see it, but that's something I'm still working on. I could be wrong about that. All right. The first six bowls of wrath. I want you to read this and think about this for a moment. And I heard a great voice. This is Revelation 16. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. Now, you can't pour something out until it's filled up. And that's what I believe Eric was leaning towards when he made this video. Very good video. Please go watch it and subscribe to his channel. Mark Daniel Capul puts a lot of stuff on Facebook, and again, they are pointing out, like I have many times. It says if a red heifer, and we don't know for certain. That's what the Jews are saying. Shabbat Parah. That's the day they're supposed to do it, on the 30th. It says if a red heifer is sacrificed this coming Good Friday, that will be exactly 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days after the Revelation 12 sign on 9/23. Remember that sign happened at night, so it's actually your first day would be the 24th, which is a total of 2,379 days. And in Strong's, that means altar. Isn't that incredible? That means altar. It's derived from G2378, a place of sacrifice. That couldn't be more fitting with what I believe is about to happen on the very day that they messed up. They messed up and crucified Jesus on March the 30th, and they're about to do the same thing again 1,993 years later. They're going to sacrifice this red heifer on the altar on March 30th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're going to kill this red heifer, and they're going to usher in 7 years of tribulation upon themselves. And this is time of day. You guys can go look at this yourself, September 24th. And remember, Jesus on the 29th at nightfall becomes March 30th. So it's 2,379 days, 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days. Now, from March the 30th, from the moment they sacrifice this red heifer up to the moment that the eclipse happens, it's 10 days. We have a verse in Revelation about, and if they imprison you 10 days. This is speaking, I think, to the tribulation saints. I believe the bride is gone before this sacrifice, or just prior to this sacrifice. Remember, when Jesus was up there with Barabbas, Jesus took Barabbas' place that morning. Barabbas was set free. He was gone. You didn't hear anything else about Barabbas. Jesus was taken down and beaten 39 times with a whip, and then he was crucified. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he gave up the ghost. And here we are 10 days later. It's a perfect 10. 10 means a complete, you can have a bunch of sevens and eights and nines in there, but 10 means all of them are encompassed in it. It's all finished by the 10. Now, the eclipse on April the 8th will happen at 1:40 p.m. Central Time and end at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. So that's pretty cool that you see 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not Israel time, that's Central Time. So for them, it'd be 9 p.m., but still matches. So here we have the eclipse on April the 8th, and it lasts, there must be something in this number, 4 minutes and 27 seconds. 427 must mean something. I don't do a lot of gematria or the Bible numbers and stuff. I'm strictly calendrical. I don't deal a lot with all that other stuff, but when I see it, I'm absolutely floored by what I see. All right, this is what I was showing you. They wandered. Remember Joshua and Caleb brought back the good report. Moses wasn't allowed to cross because he struck the rock twice. They wandered for 40 years. The only two people that were over the age of 20 when they left Israel was Joshua and Caleb. They are the only two that are allowed to go into the promised land. Joshua and Caleb were the two spies who brought back a good report and believed that God would help them succeed. That's why they were allowed to go into the promised land, because they brought the good report. All right. Just a quick video. I wanted to put that out there because tomorrow is going to happen here in Israel. It's 8 o'clock, so that's 2 a.m. until the 29th, and it goes back to 7 hours apart. Sun will be up at 6 a.m. around abouts, so in 4 hours, uh, the sun will come up. We don't know exactly what time he got the donkey and the colt and rode in to be called Hosanna in the highest, and for them to spread out. They spread out their, and I checked this out, and I don't recall, but in two of the books, they spread out their clothes and palm branches, and I think in one of them, they spread out just palm branches. I don't recall the meaning behind the clothes. I have to go back and reread that. You can go read that. So if you guys have anything, put it in the comment section. Tomorrow is a very big day. We were shocked by what happened in Russia, and Russia just struck a building in Ukraine with one of their hypersonic missiles that travels over 7,000 miles an hour. It took it 3 minutes to get there. I mean, wow, you just know there's no stopping something like that. So, what's holding this entire thing back from exploding? We're still here. I'm still standing out here in the secret broadcast cave, and nothing, I mean, that's bad, but worldwide, nothing major, I don't believe is going to happen. I think everything is being held back. It's being resisted as long as we're here. As soon as we're taken out of here, um, I think it's going to go, it's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad for everyone on the planet. So, if their requirement is to drop to your knees and accept Jesus and not receive the mark, and billions of people die right away, then we're looking at that great multitude showing up in heaven pretty quick, pretty quick. So, when do they get their new bodies? I don't know. That's not, I've heard lots of different discussions on that. So, we shall see. Repo Man 64, go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody. Accept the Lord into your heart. It's a private moment between you and your Creator, Jesus Christ. He's your Creator. He's the one that created you. He's created everything. Bible tells us that Jesus created all of it. So, he's God Almighty, and that's amazing. Amazing that he came here and did what he did. Didn't have to do any of this, but he did. And this is my insight. This is what the reason I think he did it. Of course, when we get to heaven, it's going to be like, what? But this is why I think he did it. He wanted a group of people that truly knew that they deserved hell. We know there's people out there walking around that don't even know they're sinners. They think that they're just better than somebody else next to them. So they're not as bad. They're not bad sinners. They're okay. But he wants a group of people that knows, oh, I know. Oh, boy, do I know. If I don't have him, I am done. I'm done. I deserve, for the things I've done in my life, to go straight to hell. That's a fact. We all do. And what is deserving of hell? One sin. Just one. And if you can't recognize that, you will during the tribulation. You will realize that just just because this table's sitting here, hard wood tables here, there's a whole realm out there that we don't even know about. And through that, God has sent us messages and warnings, and He plainly told us in the Bible how this was going to go down. And so many just won't see it. They won't see it. They won't read it. I've asked people who are like, yeah, yeah, there's a God. Have you? But the Bible's old, and it's probably not accurate because it was written so long ago. It doesn't really apply to our time. And I'm like, have you ever read the Bible? Well, no. You're judging a book. This is people I've seen reading books. I'm like, hey, have you? That's my way in when I see somebody reading a book, because I don't read books. I literally don't read books. I read the Bible, and that's it. And so I'm like, have you ever read the Bible? They're like, no. Then how can you judge it? You've never even read it. Can you imagine? And then as we read it, and it gets deeper and deeper, and it has so many layers and layers, like an onion. You just keep peeling back all these layers and layers and layers, and you're like, that's what that means. That's why that's there. For me, and my big aha moment was, are there not 12 hours in the day? I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And then, I mean, he sat still for 2 days. I'm like, all right, wait a second. That's Rosh Hashanah. That's the only holiday you sit still for 2 days. Why in the world is he saying these things? He's giving us clues as to when the head of the year is. So, anyway, let me get off here. Quick video. Tomorrow is the triumphal entry. And what time did he do it? I don't know. It was 4 days. I wonder if it was 84 hours before he was captured. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start that from. Would you start from when they took him and question him? Would you start it from where he took? Maybe you start from where he took Barabbas' place at probably 9 in the morning, right? Probably 9 in the morning. They beat him, and then they crucified him at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He died. So I don't even know if you count back from 9 a.m. on the 30th when he first covered Barabbas. That's even a good. a rapture high watch moment right there is because but when did he? We can surmise. We don't know exactly because the Bible doesn't say, but it does say that Pontius Pilate brought him out there next to Barabbas, and the crowd yelled to crucify Jesus and let the murderer go. You know, can't even believe that happened, but thankfully it did. You know, thankfully it did. So I don't know. That's something just came to my mind. You know, that's kind of how my brain works. So if that was 9 o'clock in the morning, is that when we go on the 30th? 9 o'clock in the morning, and then Shabbat Parah happens at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know. I don't know. Jesus desired to have that Last Supper with his apostles, right? Judas Iscariot. I have to work through that. That's incredible. Okay, so let me go work through that. That's a big bug. Ew, the thing's huge. Get out of here. Whoa. Big bugs out here in the secret broadcast cave. I need bats, is what I need. If I had bats, this wouldn't be happening. All right, we will chat with you again later.